Hey guys, Pete from London Camera Exchange here, just down at Canon HQ to have a look at some of their new products they're announcing. Dave, thanks for seeing us again. We've come down to see you today because Canon have announced two new Pro Digital SLRs that you're releasing later this year. The main questions I have really are, are they replacing any cameras in the current lineup that you have? And what's the reason for having two Pro Digital SLRs which are very close in spec?
Okay, so first of all, no, these aren't replacing any cameras that we currently have. Both of the new EOS are additions to the lineup. Now, they look very similar to the 5D Mark III, and this is deliberate, that we wanted to use a body form for these new products that was very easy to use if you're used to using an EOS camera. The 5D Mark III body is also one that's very good on weatherproofing and a very tough design, so we decided to use that for these two new cameras. There's one big specification that's different between the 5D Mark III and these two new ones, and that is the megapixels. So this one, or these two, the two new ones, now have 50.6 million pixels.
That's a lot of megapixels.
It is. That is a very exciting amount of resolution that you've actually got on these two new products. And the reason why we've done this is we want to really produce a camera that's suitable for people who are into really detailed photography. So whether you like doing landscape photography, whether you like doing portrait work, whether you like doing studio photography, anything that involves you needing huge amounts of detail, these are going to be super products for doing that. Now, you mentioned about we're launching two of them. That's right, we are. We're launching the EOS 5DS and the EOS 5DSR.
Okay.
So there's going to be two versions of this camera. So this is the S we have in front of us here. Now, the difference between them is going to involve the low-pass filter. So the S has your standard low-pass filter inside there. The SR has a low-pass filter delete, which is effectively a secondary low-pass filter which cancels out the effect that the low-pass filter gives you. So we're kind of aiming them at two different types of photography. So if you have quite a fast workflow, if you don't have time to do much post-processing and this kind of thing, like if you do fashion photography and you need to shoot quite quickly and send your image quite quickly, you might be better off with the S, because the R, because it's got this low-pass filter delete function in it, you may get more A patterns and this kind of thing. So if you have a slower workflow, like if you do landscape photography or something like that, you might be better off with the SR. Now, the beauty of the SR is it's going to be sharper again, so you can have the ultimate in sharpness, in the sharpest images you're going to get, but you may get some more A patterns depending on what kind of subject you're shooting. That's kind of why we're saying the SR is really good for landscape photography, because in landscape photography you're unlikely to have regimented lines like you'd have with a gentleman's suit or something like that, so you're less likely to get more patterns when you're shooting things like landscapes. But that's why we've produced these two cameras and launched them both together.
So rather than taking the AA filter out, like other manufacturers have done, you've put two in. Why would you opt to do it that way around rather than what I'd regard as almost the standard way of doing it?
With it, the difficulty with taking the AA filter or the low-pass filter out from inside the camera is you actually change the focal plane.
Okay.
So you actually have to move the sensor to compensate for that. If we did that, that means we'd have to completely redesign the body. So we'd have to completely start again when we're building the camera, which would be a bit of a shame because the 5D Mark III is a lovely, lovely body to use. Also, if we do it this way, where we actually have the two filters in there, that means we can give people the best of both worlds. So if they don't want any more A patterns, if they want to work a lot faster, if they don't want to have the processing put behind their photography, they can go for the R, which will give them that, go for the S, which will give them that those beautiful images straight off the camera. But then if they do want the ultimate in sharpness, they have the SR. So we feel having the two cameras give people the best of both worlds.
You've said that the 5DS is very similar and same body to what the 5D Mark III is. So what are the differences between this and the 5D Mark III?
Well, this one, as we've mentioned, has the high megapixel count, but the 5D Mark III is still your camera if you want to do high-speed action, because it has the faster frame rate. Also, if you do low-light photography as well, especially of fast-moving subjects, you may be better off with the 5D Mark III because it actually has a higher ISO. This one, in standard form, as in not expanded ISO, will go from 100 to 6400, and expanded it'll go to 50 to 12800. So it has good low ISO capabilities, but not the same as what the 5D Mark III does. So if you really want to do fast moving subjects in low light conditions, the 5D Mark III is the camera for you.
So what would the frames per second on the 5DS be?
This actually runs at 5 frames a second, which personally I think is quite impressive for a camera that has 50.6 million pixels.
Yeah,
that's a lot of information to move around. And to do that, the camera actually has 2 of our new Digit 6 processors as well, so our latest processors inside here to actually do that. What we've done with this one as well, which is another difference between the 5D Mark III, is that we've put a USB 3 port on here. So this one hasn't got a headphone socket, which you find on the 5D Mark III, but it has got USB 3, which will make it faster for transferring your images, and obviously because of the big file size on here, it'll be really handy to have the USB 3.
So this won't replace the 5D Mark III's video capabilities, but I understand there's a time-lapse function inside of it.
That's right, yeah. The movie capabilities of both cameras, so the S, the SR and the 5D Mark III, is very, very similar. So the final output that you get will be pretty much exactly the same. An added function on this one, yes, is the time-lapse movie. So you can do full HD time-lapse with this one. The other difference between them as well is the 5D Mark III will actually give you the raw output on movie as well, and this one doesn't have that capability. And as I mentioned earlier, the mic input, the headphone input, this one doesn't have headphone input, whereas the 5D Mark III does.
So coming from someone who's already had a 5D Mark III and basically getting this one hands-on, you've kept the dials and buttons in a very similar place, if not the same, so it's going to be very intuitive to people.
It will be. It'll be very, very easy to use. If you're used to using a 5D, or actually for that matter, any of our EOS cameras, you can instantly get onto this one and start using it straight away. That's really the beauty of using the 5D body. The 5D Mark III is obviously the third in this generation. It's been changed from customers' feedback to get it into a product that's incredibly easy to use and one that's very intuitive to use. So I really do feel that it was the right choice to actually use the body now for the new sensor.